I used to read a lot of dating advice and go out there and try it, but the girls still kept rejecting me. Eventually I realized this is because the vast majority of dating advice out there is complete bullshit. And the stuff that actually works seems wrong or comes off as toxic, so no one really wants to share it because they want to be labeled as a creep or get canceled. Fortunately, I don't give a shit about that. So I'm going to share with you 4 really important lessons that you may have never heard of before, but which allow me to sleep with hundreds of girls and ultimately get an amazing girlfriend. Lesson number 1, screening. So the guys who are doing the best with the ladies, they don't try to make it work with every girl. That's a good way to waste your night. Instead, they very carefully screen for girls who are on the same page as them. Let me show you a cold approach infield example so you can see what I'm talking about. So Marcus from Ultimate Man Project is talking to 2 girls and they're being relatively unreceptive. So watch what he does.
I thought you were like, this charming Australian boy is making me blush.
No,
that's fine. You don't have to be nervous.
No, we're fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Hey guys, oh my god, sorry, your friend's adorable.
He makes a strategic decision. He sees that the girls that he was talking to aren't really going anywhere. He can spend his whole night trying to make it work, or he can find girls that are more interested. So he moves on immediately in a very shameless way, which I love, to the next set of girls. And ultimately, it turns out to be a good decision because he winds up pulling these girls, as you can see here.
Well, we can totally go back now for a drink if you guys want to come with us.
Yes.
Now again, imagine if he just kept talking to the original girls. He probably would have wound up going home with his dick in his hand. And so when you're out and about, one tip I can give you is also look and see if you can find girls by themselves, right? Those are typically much more likely to be DTF because it means that even though their friends weren't going out, they still decided to go out, which is usually a very good indicator they're trying to get laid. And for example, if you see you're talking to 2 girls and they're just kind of be like, oh no, we got this to do, we got to be up at 6 a.m., right? You might want to just count your losses, maybe get the girl's phone number and move on to the next set of girls, right? That's what all the experts do. And then when it comes to online dating, screening is even more important because there's a lot of time wasters on there. So a while ago, around 2018, 2019, I did a very interesting Tinder experiment. I created 2 profiles. The first profile was just very safe. You know, it was just standard photos of me, the bio was very safe, and I got a lot of matches on that profile. The second profile was very 50 Shades of Grey, and this is 2018 Tinder, so you could really get away with just having a very sexual bio, sexual photos. And yes, of course, the profile that basically was very sexual got less matches, but ultimately, when I counted everything up, I realized I was getting more dates on the sexual profile, even though I was getting less matches, because I was screening out all the girls who are time wasters, and there's a lot of those. And there's 2 ways you can screen on dating apps. The first is with your photos. So here you can see I use a shirtless selfie. This does a great job of screening out all the girls who are prudish or looking for a relationship. Also for girls who are DTF, it makes me stand out because they see I have a nice body. Another way you can screen is with your bio. So I do both. So for example, here you can see my bio, 6'0", Miami, my passion is traveling around the world and seductively whispering Russian in your ear, strengths, being dominant, BDSM, cracking inappropriate jokes, and cuddling, weaknesses, great ass, and accents. So again, this is going to screen out all the girls who are looking for relationships, and it's going to screen out a lot of time wasters. And for the girls who are interested, it's going to hook them. I get a lot of girls who reference my bio when they open me or when they're talking with me. They'll say stuff like, I think I have one of your weaknesses. Or they'll say things like, ooh, how dominant are we talking here? Or, I didn't know Russian was sexy, right? So it makes you stand out with the girls that you do match with and screens out all the girls that you don't even want to match with because they're going to be time wasters. Lesson number 2, be unapologetic. Look, if you run over her dog or spill some hot coffee on her, then yeah, you should probably apologize. But short of that, there's absolutely no reason why you should be apologizing to a random girl that you're trying to pick up. Girls often test guys, right? That's what's happening the majority of the time. They want to see if they're the kind of guy that stands on business, the kind of guy that owns his shit, or you're the kind of guy that's just going to completely backtrack and become a total pussy. Guess which category the vast majority of men fall into. So when she meets a guy who's unapologetic and doesn't give a shit, it's very refreshing. It's a massive turn on, especially for brats. Take a look at this example, which illustrates this point perfectly. So I was doing a screen review, and one of the girls wasn't too happy about that. See how it played out. When was the last time you regretted having sex with a guy?
That's none of your business.
Well, that's the whole point of the screen review.
To ask me questions that are none of your business?
Well, it's not for you. We're doing multiple girls. You're not the only girl participating in the screen review.
Okay, but I'm also probably the only girl who's not going to tell you the answer.
Are you like embarrassed of the answer, or?
No, but it's none of your business.
Was it like 2 days ago? Last week? Last month? Last year?
Just tell me if I'm getting warmer or colder.
Notice how instead of backtracking, I kind of start fucking with her. And ultimately, she wound up answering the question. She wound up giving me her phone number. She wound up coming on, doing a bunch of street interviews with me. She wound up doing speed dates with me, right? And all that is because I held my ground, right? Because this chick is a brat and she was shit testing me. If I had backtracked, if I started to apologize, oh, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't offend you with the question, she would have fucking eaten me up for breakfast. So never apologize, never backtrack, stand on business, and you're going to earn a lot more respect from girls and also a lot more traction. Next, let me show you how being unapologetic applies to text. So here's a good example. I opened this girl with "Hey Trouble," and she responds with, "Do you call me trouble, you sex addict?" She's kind of challenging me here. And a lot of guys here would backtrack. They'd be like, oh yeah, I just thought it was a funny opener, right? I do the opposite. I just own my shit and say, yes, I did. And notice her reaction, right? Notice how she does a 180 here. That was indeed what I was suspecting. Indeed, one good thing, I can still read proper English. And so basically, me and this girl wound up going back and forth. Now I passed her shit test. Ultimately, I wound up going over to her hotel and hooking up with her, I believe, either the next night or that night. Here's another good example. This is a girl I was actually seeing for like 4 or 5 months. So I open her with "Hey Trouble," and she says, "Hey there, you DTF little white tiger. Is your dick as big as your ego?" Right, referencing my bio. And again, I don't backtrack here, right? I own my shit. I say only one way to find out. She says, "You're a sexual deviant?" I say, "Perhaps. What are you looking for on here?" She's like, "Don't know yet. It's my first time. I'm an old-fashioned Italian prude princess. It's not sure how to handle casual quite yet, but I'd like to change my ways. It's clear what you're looking for, or is it a joke?" So this is also a challenge of sorts. I say, "No worries. I'd be happy to spank the princess right out of you." And she's like, "You're making me blush." And ultimately, I wound up hooking up with this girl and seeing her multiple times. And that's only because I was unapologetic and owed my shit. Lesson number 3, learn how to overcome concerns and objections. This is something you're never going to hear like a mainstream dating advice person talk about, because it's like, oh my God, concerns and objections. You should just, be yourself, and the girl should consent. And yes, you should be yourself, and yes, consent is important, but at some point, basically every girl you're going to try to sleep with is going to give you a variation of a concern or objection, just something that she wants you to reassure her on. And if you can't do that, you're going to strike out with the vast majority of girls that you could otherwise be hooking up with. So let me show you guys a good example that illustrates this. So for this, I was doing a unique pickup challenge where I was going up to girls and just straight up asking them out off the opener. I typically don't do this. So watch how this goes down.
Hi, I know this is really random, but I wanted to ask, would you want to go on a date with me?
I don't live here, but thank you.
It's okay. You don't have to live in Miami to be.
I live in Florida. I'm really from New York.
So her objection is she doesn't live here, right? Watch how I dissect this and then reframe it.
So
Okay.
I'm going back to the his wedding, but I appreciate it.
When are you leaving?
She has her wedding in a few days, next weekend.
Okay.
So it's like wedding hell for us until then.
So we have a whole week.
This is true. This is true.
You're thinking really hard. You got like the angel and the devil. Go with the devil. He always gives you better ideas.
Where are you from here?
Yeah.
And ultimately, I wound up getting her phone number. So how do I overcome this objection? Well, number 1, I stay calm. And I ask good questions, right? That's the best way to do it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, when are you leaving? I'm like, we still have 5 days, right? So then I'm kind of reframing it. And I also do it with humor. I'm like, hey, listen, you got the good angel and you got the bad devil, listen to the bad devil. So that combination does the trick. And she starts laughing and she realizes how silly her objection is because she still has 5 more days in town. And ultimately, the whole thing goes down. Now, let me show you what an objection looks like at a more advanced stage. So this is Marcus when he's on a date with a girl. This is like 15, 20 minutes in, and he's basically trying to pull the girl. Watch the objection that she gives him.
Well, it depends. I never do it on first date because I want to get to know the person and everything.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fuck you just yet, man. Relax. Gonna earn it. Okay, settle down. Fuck. So keen.
So here he's doing the same thing as me. He's using a little bit of humor.
No, it's just.
That's fine. Anyway.
No, not that I would feel bad. But it's just.
No, it's cool. Don't worry.
No, I need to get to know the person before.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm saying we can go back and have a drink at mine. I'm not saying we're gonna do anything else.
Okay.
All right, relax.
Do you have a car?
And bam, she's in. She's asking buying questions. Do you have a car? How far is it? And he ultimately winds up pulling the girl back to his place. And that's only happens because he's able to overcome her initial objection, right? And the way he does it is, number 1, with a little bit of humor to kind of diffuse the situation. And number 2, he does this by taking the pressure off, right? Because he invites the girl to his place. She's like, oh my God, this means I have to have sex. He takes the pressure off. And women prefer no pressure situations. If you make it no pressure, she's way more likely to go back to your place and ultimately ultimately fuck you. Next, let me show you how this applies over text. And I can safely say that if I didn't learn how to overcome objections and concerns over text, I would probably reduce my lay count by like a solid 70 or 80%. So here's a good example of a girl I wound up sleeping with, right? So she was being kind of flaky, she was not responding, so I sent her the honestly didn't take you for the flaky type text, which is a good text to send in those situations. So here she goes. She says, I'm not just looking for a hookup. So her objection is, she thinks I want a one-night stand. So here, first, I kind of get her to question her initial assumption. I say, and what exactly did I say I was just looking for a hookup? She's like, true, never directly. I guess I assumed based on flirty texts and mentioning sex, which I'm not against, but Tinder does have a reputation. So I say, yes, I do like me some flirty texts, but no, I'm over one-night stands, always found a bit unfulfilling, plus sex gets even better after you build some chemistry. She's like, well, I have to agree with that. A little tension makes things more interesting in my opinion, and I'll apologize for just assuming. And after that, the conversation got back on track. We ultimately set up a date and hooked up, right? It was easy peasy after that, but only because I overcame her objection. Here's another good one. So this is a girl I was working on for a period of time, and I say, okay, we should give this another shot because she was flaky in the past. She says, here's the problem. You're only 28. I'm looking for more. I just had a crash and burn with a 30-year-old. It doesn't work. I'm very attracted to younger, but realistically, I need an older guy for what I want. Meaningless sex is fun, but empty. So this is the age objection. Watch how I overcome this. I say, age is just a number. I've dated women from early 20s to late 40s. It always came down to the person, not the year on their driver's license. One big plus I've found with older women is a higher sex drive and typically better communication, which matches with me. And bam, that reframe almost always works when you're talking to a woman who's older than you and giving you the age objection. And then watch, later on, she gives me another objection. So this is basically, I think, the day that she was supposed to come over. I sent her like a shirtless photo, say, getting nice and jacked for her date, because the comment was sexual leading up to this. And she's like, well, Alex, I'm impressed. I'm supposed to start my period today, and my left shoulder's still a mess. I don't have the girls tonight, but I'm wondering if you want to reschedule, or is this a Shirley Temple get-to-know-you evening, right? So she creates basically a paradigm for me. It's either, hey, we're just going to hang out, but we're not going to do anything, or we're not going to hang out, we're going to reschedule. Watch how I respond. I definitely want to get to know you, but I can't promise I will keep my hands off. And I'm a man. The red fairy doesn't bother me. She's like, well, some boys are scared away by the red fairy. Where are we meeting? Blah, blah, blah. I give her my address. She comes over. Wound up hooking up with literally within her 5 or 10 minutes of her coming over. And pro tip, if you get a girl really horny, the period basically goes away and you're not going to get any blood anyway. Lesson number 4, don't be a pussy and don't be afraid to go for what you want. This is probably the most important one. You can get everything else right, but if you get this wrong, if you're a pussy, you're not going to have any success because a girl is just not going to respect you. At the end of the day, the reality is the vast majority of men are just too afraid to go up and say hi to a cute girl they see. They're too afraid to ask a girl out, too afraid to kiss a girl, too afraid to go further than that. And look, I'm not saying that you should push past a girl's boundaries or anything like that. Of course not, right? But too many guys are way too far on the end of the spectrum. They're just kind of acting like pussies. So they go on these dates, they don't make a move, they don't do anything, and the date awkwardly ends and the girl tells them that she wasn't feeling the chemistry, right? That's just because the guy was a pussy, right? So what you want to do is you want to be one of those guys that just doesn't give a shit, that kind of goes for what he wants, is not afraid. You want to be socially calibrated, but you still want to make sure you're kind of guy that goes for what he wants. Fortune favors the bold, and this especially applies to dating. The guys who are not afraid to take social risks are the guys who get all the results. So let me show you guys an example of a guy who comes off as a massive pussy, right, when he's cold approaching a girl. And you can see the girl's reaction is pretty appropriate.
Sorry for bothering you. Where are you from?
I'm sorry, I have the boyfriend.
Oh my God, you have a boyfriend. Of course, all the beautiful ones are taken.
Look, this girl might have a boyfriend, she might not, but this guy's going to get rejected by pretty much every girl. I mean, he starts off his opener with, sorry for bothering you. He's very apologetic. Now, he's better than most guys who are too afraid to even go up and do that, but he still comes off way too much like a pussy to get success. You have to be able to take social risks, and you have to not really give a fuck. Let me show you guys the opposite. Here's someone that actually doesn't give a fuck and always goes for what he wants, within reason, obviously. It's Scotty GLL. I think he's the perfect example for this. So take a look at this. He sees a cute girl, and watch what he does differently compared to the guy you just saw.
Hey, how are you? You can
Good, how are
smile. You can smile. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Do you speak Spanish?
Oh, I don't. Un poquito, señor.
Oh my God. You have the touch of like an angel. Are you even real?
I mean, I am.
So in addition to being very smooth, he's very bold. Like within 15 seconds, he's touching the girl's hand, right? He's kind of like stroking her, and it winds up working out really well. He gets the girl's phone number. Here's another example of Scotty. He sees a cute girl, but she's with her mom. Most guys in that situation would never approach, but Scotty's a little different.
Hey, Mom. Is this your daughter? Oh my God, hold on. You guys look absolutely beautiful. I'm serious.
And this goes on for another 3 minutes, and he also winds up getting the daughter's number, who turns out to be 20, right? And here's the last example. So Scotty sees a girl with another guy. For 99% of guys, this would be just a hard no, like, oh my God, what if the guy beats me up? Watch what Scotty does instead.
Oh, look at this guy, macking. You aren't going to introduce me to your beautiful wife?
That's my daughter.
Is this really?
Just kidding.
She is absolutely beautiful. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I noticed you from like all the way over there. I know it's kind of stalkerish, but you're... Hold on.
You
Hold on. Bring him with him. I had to call.
Notice the dog?
I had to cold approach.
Literally within 15 seconds, he's taking the girl and isolating her from the guy. Very few guys would have the balls to do this. And this is really what it comes down to. You need to have balls. You need to not be a pussy. If you're the kind of guy that's afraid to take social risks, you're going to strike out when it comes to dating pretty aggressively, and a lot of girls are going to friend zone you. So what you need to do is practice stretching your comfort zone. Do things that make you deliberately uncomfortable. If it makes you nervous to go up to a girl and express that you like her, do that and keep stretching that comfort zone until eventually you just don't have a fuck like my man Scotty. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable. Make sure you follow these 4 lessons that I've learned, and you're going to save yourself a lot of painful trial and error that I had to go through. Also, if you want to find out how good your texting skills are, you might be thinking, am I a good texter, am I an average texter? Check out our free texting quiz. Link is going to be in the description. You take the quiz, it's pretty quick, and it's going to tell you exactly what your texting skills are so you know what you need to improve on. Link in the description. Thank you guys, and until next time.